making waves in the worlds of artivism, which is art and activism. I actually just learned that. And they're amplifying the voices of the Latinx community. We're seriously so excited to welcome the insanely talented Mishel Prada and Anzoategui, the breakout stars on Starz hit series Vida. Welcome.
Yes. I know, I want to clap too.
I'm so excited.
Clap away, for sure.
Both, first and foremost, thank you guys for being here. You know, Latinx Now is basically what your show is basically about. And I watch it, I'm a big fan. My question to you guys is, how cool is it that you guys are not just attacking, you know, subjects like, you know, the gay community, the Latin community, but also the gentrification within the city, you know? How is it to be part of something like a project like that?
It's pretty powerful. I mean, especially because we're getting to see these working class neighborhoods in such a loving light, in a way that isn't perfect. It's not, you know, sugarcoating what it is, but it's a love story as well, and it's a story about family and identification and belonging, and I think that's so beautiful because it's a universal story, and I think the more we can see what it's like to be somebody that doesn't look exactly like you, the easier it is to empathize with each other. So
yeah,
that's
I think
a good thing.
it's so refreshing, I think, for audiences and myself, but to see like a different kind of depiction of Latinx on the screen. And not only that, it's like we're not playing like the drug dealers, all that stuff. We're like all these different complicated, rich, flawed characters, you know, so it's refreshing for myself and for the people watching it. They're like kind of shocked and surprised because you don't know until you see it what it really is and how it makes you feel and the inside jokes you get and all of that. So it's like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Wait, what? I love that because it's not, you know, it's not the stereotype, but it's also poking fun a little bit at ourselves, which I think is important as well to do sometimes. Now, Sid, you know, I got to ask you a question because as I was reading your bio and everything, you know, it says non-binary, you know, and truthfully, so that we all learn, right? And we all obviously get to know, you know, how to, you know, approach someone like that as well. So like, please teach us. We'd love to know.
Well, thank you so much because it does, you know, sometimes we just don't know. And I also didn't know. I didn't learn it in school. I learned it through my own community, like that would tell me like, hey, this is how it's going on. You know, this was happening. This was crap.
This is what,
but it really makes sense. I mean, there's a difference between sexuality and gender. Yeah. So when you see someone like me who's masculine, don't automatically assume that they're gay or they're lesbian. You know, how they identify. So you can also approach someone and say, hey, I'm your name, you know, and like I'm he, him, her, hers, what about you? And they automatically hear you acknowledging pronouns.
Yeah.
You don't even have to just, I'm she. You don't even have to ask them anything.
Right. That
automatically opens an invitation and acknowledgement, which when you do that with folks like that look like me or that appreciate that, they're just, it does something that is greater than we can understand.
Very
you know?
cool. Very
so,
cool.
yeah.
But you're doing something that's greater than we can understand too, because you're representing a whole community that has lacked that recognition, you know?
Yeah, especially I play Eddie, who identifies as butch lesbian and a little bit more traditional, like old school kind of like generation. And so that's cool too, because even within that generation, it's still like, wait, the LGBTQ, ABCD, you know, and they go like that, you know, but there's so much and there's more people, like, there's more identities out there than we know. They'll continue changing language. We're going to continue hearing more terms. And it's like just accepting that there's more acknowledgement of other genders that are out there.
And I think the important thing is having these conversations.
Oh, right? Yeah, absolutely.
And in the show, we have that.
Yeah. Yes. Isn't it cool? Like you could be just in your living room and say, hey, look. And it's like, oh, look. And have that conversation. And it takes the pressure off the person to have that. And that happens a lot. It happened to me growing up, which I'm grateful for.
One thing I think that I found really helpful was that sometimes people are like, he, she, they, there. That's too weird. But the way it was explained to me was if someone drops their wallet and you're not sure who they are, you leave it for them because they may come back for it.
Of course.
And that's very easy for us to speak when we don't know if it's a binary situation. So if you think of it that way, it just makes it a lot easier. And you're like, oh yeah, I guess I do speak that way without realizing it.
Cool.
Yeah, we gender language all the time.
Now, you guys actually, before we started shooting, you guys were saying that you guys started shooting the show on Dia de los Muertos, right? Which I think is very symbolic, you know, and I love that so much. But you guys now have the second season, which is on, so you guys shot 2 seasons in 1 year?
Yeah, can you imagine that? Our lives totally changed. you know, it's an incredible feeling to be on a set that, you know, Tanya Saracho, our creator, curated such a loving environment to be able to be so vulnerable, especially Dia de los Muertos. Like, that is, we're dealing with death. It could be very triggering. And so, but it's also a celebration of life. It's our traditions.
Yep,
it's like,
it is.
So it's like a beautiful, like, two worlds that come together.
Yep.
And like, we're really able to say, hey, we're working this, but we're also embracing our culture.
Honoring our ancestors.
Hollywood.
That is
So
dope.
many
Honoring our
things to
Honoring our
watch this season.
ancestors.
Yeah.
So you guys, when does the next season air?
May 23rd, it drops on the app and it's bingeable this time.
10
it's
episodes.
which is exciting because you know you can just get the app and just catch it.
We got 4 more episodes than last season too, right?
More.
Yeah.
And directed by Latina directors
Yeah,
too.
all of Latino directors. And yeah, it's
So awesome.
So there's no waiting for it this time around. You
Yeah.
just get it and you get
binge
the full
it.
thing.
I dare you not to binge.
right.
Because it's that addicting.
Challenge accepted. If you want to know about Little Xan or the Oscars
Fashion.
or fashion,
Or Meghan Markle.
Or Meghan Markle, what else?
we always want to know about
Look at
Meghan
you.
Markle. You know what you guys have to do?
Royals.
Press a button that says subscribe.
That's it. It's easy.
Easy like not me.
Easy peasy.